Notts County Talk, we are live again. The games are coming thick and fast, aren't they, George?
They are, yeah.
So it's good to be getting in this momentum, this run of form. 3 games unbeaten, 2 wins in there, and a very good comeback against Bournemouth. It's looking like now, especially with that point we picked up. But if you didn't watch our discussion, we'll briefly go over what we thought about the Yeovil fixture. Incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said it to Will. Huge bounce back. I think it's almost like you feel like we needed that so much, and just that performance just gives you that. You've just regained that confidence to think that we definitely can push to the higher end of the table now, not just aim for playoffs. So it's great to see, and it's been lacking for weeks. It's been very worrying for every Notts fan. The Oddly Out Brigade have been out in full force, and there's times in games where you can't really blame them. But hopefully the tides have turned, and that's our rough patch over now, and we can just steamroll for the rest of the season.
Football's ridiculous, isn't it? 2-0 down against Bournemouth. I'm thinking this is looking bleak. Like, how long has he got left? 10 minutes later, hang on, fantastic result. Bit of confidence for old F Young, and it's. I genuinely think, I know we talk about this game a lot on this channel. Barnet at home, we talk about this a lot. That first 30 minutes, I don't think I'm being very bold statement here. I've not watched every game, obviously. In the history of the National League, you won't find a better 30-minute performance anywhere ever.
No, I don't.
Not so like a Premier League team.
Yeah,
it was absolutely ridiculous. I haven't seen Notts as cohesive as we were yesterday since that Barnet. It's not as good as the first 30 minutes of Barnet, but the cohesiveness, in full control for 85 minutes.
Yeah, we were just so much more direct, and then we have been probably since that game. I mean, everything we did, it was just done quick. It was done at the snap of a finger. Whereas I feel like of recent, it feels like we've been taking our time with things and slowly building up play, and that's obviously the way Ardley wants things. But fair play to Ardley, and you credit to him that he's seen the issue and he's changed it, because stubbornness in a manager, there's nothing worse. And it's good that he can adhere to it and change his ways to adapt to getting some points, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Before we move on, as always, if you'd like to get a comment or a question in, just post it in the live chat, and we'll flash it for you up on the screen. Always good to get some talking points. So thank you to anyone that's been doing that in recent live streams. So I just feel like this, it feels very, very similar to last season. Sort of, I don't know, it feels very sort of samey, where Notts finally got that one result. And if I remember rightly, it was I believe it to be against Yeovil when they went down to 9 men and still with the trophy game. Yeah. That clicked it. And I feel like in a victory didn't click. I feel like how poor we were in the last game we lost, I think that clicked it, and the players had the need, didn't they? And I feel like now, wow, if we can pick up a win away to Yeovil, I said it with choice later. I said we're not going to pick up 6 points, but imagine if we did. Well, actually, we're halfway there. Yeah. If we can pick up 6, what a statement!
Yeah, I think why not? We've got to go into that game. I think we've got to go into every game for the rest of the season. I know it's a bold statement, whether it be away to Torquay, etc., like the bigger teams, we've got to be going into the game thinking we want all 3 points to every game. We can't be coming away from games, even if we do get it's a good draw, thinking that's a good result.
It's doable though. We've got the team.
Yeah, exactly. We've said it from the get-go. We've had plenty of time to prepare for this season. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a difficult season, but it's difficult for everyone. It's so up and down. The only thing that I think that I've said it a few times as well is the expectation. It weighs heavy, I think, on clubs like Notts when they're in the National League. The caliber of player. I think expectation from fans weighs heavy on players, and it can change things sometimes. But I just feel like I totally agree with what you're saying. It feels very similar to last season. We were very inconsistent. It's taken a long time when you think about how many games we've played. Is it 26, 27 games we've played now?
26.
26. I mean, what's that? What we got left then? Like 18 games now?
So something like that, yeah.
We've got 18 games. 18 games left now. We have to win. Like, we have to. 17.
Might be less now. Dover dropped out. We didn't have Macclesfield, but I feel like this is a weird thing to say because obviously we're a Notts County channel. We do this every week in, week out. We love the club, but I felt like before the Wealdstone game, and maybe even actually that game and the Boreham Wood game, I felt like I was watching the game at a distance. Like, I was half the time I was thinking, "Whoa, we need to be careful here because it's looking really bleak." I felt like I've finally been sucked back in watching that Yeovil one. I think I felt again I was enjoying it so much compared to what we've seen. It just felt fresh.
Yeah, it did. I absolutely agree. It was so much more exciting to watch. Like the last couple of weeks, it's been so disengaging. The way we've been playing, it's just been dull. We've not been creative. You know, defensively, we've looked sloppy. It's just not. It's never good to watch football like that at any level. So to regain that sort of stability and, you know, more direct style, I think it works well for us, and it's great to watch, and it's just great to see not sort of going that way now as well, you know, especially at this time of the season.
I think without a doubt the players would have enjoyed it. That win on Saturday, just the way they just dominated, swatted a player like Reece Murphy that scored 12 goals this season. And we think how well we think Wharton's played. Well, he scored 12 in a team that are lower down. Literally swatted him away without any problems. Let's get to our first thing up on the screen. So Max says we need to take advantage of these games in hand. It feels like when we win, so do others. When we lose, everyone else wins. Now that's taken me nicely onto a point. You know I like my stats, George. You know I like them. So I want to flash a few of these by you and just see what you think. So Notts are in 6th currently, 45 points, and Yeovil sit in 14th on 38 points. Now this interests me. Things like this, looking at the league. So Sutton are first, right? We've got one game in hand over Sutton, and they're 12 points ahead. So we could cut that to 9. Hartlepool in 2nd. They're 8 points ahead, but we have 4 games in hand over Hartlepool. Yeah. Torquay 3rd, 6 points ahead with 2 games in hand. So can catch them. Can catch even Hartlepool. Stockport 4th, 2 points ahead of us, but we've got 2 games in hand. And Wrexham 5th, 2 points ahead of us. We've got 3 games in hand. Play like we did against Yeovil, we could be 2nd.
Oh, without a doubt. And
when you look at that,
another positive as well to take from that is the Dover points. They haven't been expunged yet, have they?
Not yet.
Well, you'd like to think they would be, and if they are, I mean, the gap closes, doesn't it? So
yeah, apart from Sutton, who didn't play them, unfortunately. But
oh, really? That's typical, that, isn't it?
Only 15 teams played them, but like you're saying, that could move us up. Well, Wrexham 2 points ahead of us, Stockport 2. That could.
We're yet to play Sutton at home, aren't we?
I believe so. Yeah, they've all merged into one, and with the gap in between games, yeah, I think we've just played Sutton away.
Yeah, I wonder when that is. It'd be good if it's like towards the end of the season. That'd be a great game to watch. That one.
I want to go back onto this as well. This is good that Max has asked this because it's led on nicely. This week we've got Yeovil away. It's not an easy game at all, so we can't say we'll take some points and gain some places. But Sutton are away at Bromley, who sit just outside the playoffs. Not an easy game. Confidence will be down after conceding. Dagenham and Redbridge are at home to Hartlepool. Now, that's not a tricky game, but it's away from home. Stockport at home, but they've got Eastleigh, who we know Eastleigh are decent. They're 9th in the league. And Torquay have got Solihull. Now, Solihull aren't doing great, but actually they're a decent side in this division. No one out of the top 6 has an easy game this week.
No.
So anyone gets that win, it's a very, very big win and an important win as well.
Yeah, well, it is now, isn't it? I mean, it's crunch time, I think, really, for most teams. But I stick by what I said yesterday. I just can't see Sutton sustaining the form they're in at the moment.
It's impossible.
Yeah, they can't. There's going to be times when they drop points. And we've just, and I know Notts players know it. Everyone knows it. We've just got to get the results now, week in, week out. We have to.
It doesn't matter if, say to get that top spot now, you're looking at in a 5-game spell out of 15 points, we probably need to be picking up 10 pretty much. We need to average in 2 points a game.
Yeah.
If Sutton, for the rest of the season, if we average 10, Sutton average 8, or 7. We're going to catch them. We just have to be better than Sutton.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do. And we've got a game against them, and Notts have the squad. I've seen some Sutton fans, and fair play to Sutton, they are doing incredibly well. Like, they are doing very well. They're battering teams. But I've seen some Sutton fans saying they cannot believe they're up there in the league. And that, for me, is a positive. If they don't believe they should be up there with the squad they've got, it's very, very, very rarely that sides sustain that level. And then you start to look at the teams like us, Hartlepool, Stockport, that have that better squad that might take over. But fair play to Sutton for what they're doing at the minute.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm not discrediting them at all, but like you, I've seen similar things to you online where their fans are surprised at how well they are doing. And you know, you look at the results, and I said that yesterday as well. Quite a few of their wins, they have just scraped it. Now I know that does show a lot of character in a squad, but you can't sustain winning games like that throughout a season.
Not sustainable at all.
No.
If you go and look at the two sides, then Yeovil, back to Yeovil. This is a glaringly obvious thing when you look at the two sides. Notts County conceded 21, Yeovil conceded 47. That did show. Now we scored 2.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've played a couple of games more than Notts, I think, but still, Notts' defence is fantastic. I mean, we've just loaned in Maldini from Tranmere. I don't know if you've seen him play. World class. It's sort of a mix between him and Vidic. He's so good, honestly. He's the first
Will's rubbing off on you.
No, it's just a laugh, isn't it? It's such a good player. It's a load of player like that in though. Really good. I wish we kept hold of Sam Graham as well though, just to have that extra cover. But you know, that's just things that happen, isn't it? He wasn't getting the game time. So I think with the back 3 we've got, and if Reece Murphy is injured, I haven't seen news on him, but he did go off, didn't he?
Yeah. You got to remember, injured, Lacey went off as well, didn't he? So
he did, but got Turner filling in there. I think Turner in the back 3 is better than a back 2, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
But you place him on the side of a natural defender. So if Enzio does play, you don't put Turner on that side because he'll be exposed.
Yeah.
As we saw, a very good defender, Rawlinson, a couple of times was left with Enzio, but that's just what he's like, isn't it? Let's get the one up. So, Keane, I think momentum is coming back slowly, but surely, I'm in the opinion we'll get playoffs. I think it'll be close when I'm saying 2-1 to Notts. Yeah, we just talked about momentum. It's definitely there. Before we go on to our lineup then, we'll see what Gary said. So what are your thoughts on the latest additions to the squad now they've settled in, and what are your thoughts on the Roberts situation? Should we just rate the latest additions out of 10?
Yeah, can do.
On then.
I don't know. You can't really do, other than Ellis, I feel like you can't really give him much justice, can you?
I'm going to count Barnett and Miller in there.
Yeah, I suppose. Fair enough.
Ellis, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd go 8.5. 8.5.
Miller, I'm going to give a 7.
6.5.
Barnett, he was pretty poor one game. 7.5.
I'm going to give him. I fell under a half at everything we've picked there, but I'm going to give him a 7 because I'm not going to try and get carried away. As much as he showed great qualities yesterday, and hope he can continue playing like that. It's the best game he's had in a Notts shirt, and leading up to that, he's not been fantastic. I'm sure he'll know that himself. But yeah, if you can sustain the way he was playing yesterday, I mean, 8 or 9.
Yeah. And the Roberts situation, we've talked about this a few times. Very, very, very difficult. I mean,
it's complex. It's complex because. So sorry to interrupt you, Tom, but I was watching a video of Ardley, and he was saying he was one of the ones that had COVID, and I think he had it quite bad. So he's a player that's never really struggled with injuries throughout his career, albeit he's had quite a relatively short career. And all of a sudden, he's picking up strains left, right, and centre. So they're sort of looking into if it's COVID related. Like, it's a lot more complex than I think anyone first thought. So in that respect, I assume fans are feeling. We said it as well, didn't we? He was brought back too soon. But when I found that out about it could be related to COVID and oxygen levels in the muscles, etc., it becomes a bit more complex, and they obviously understand it now, and they can sort of go in that direction of treating it. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it? He's obviously itching to get playing, but you also don't want someone that's itching to get playing and training and be involved in training to pull another strain, like strain himself again and be out for longer. So it's such a complex situation, from the injury to managing the players' expectations, etc., etc. So it is hard, and the fans want to see him as well, which piles the pressure on to get him back. Because I'm sure there's every Notts fan just want to see him back on the pitch. So
there is one thing I will say is, we know that we've spoke on the Pavis perspective with a couple of guests on this, and Charlie Slater gave us this information as well. Said that Ardley is so meticulous in everything, stats for everything. I'm surprised they brought him back on against Stockport. I'm very surprised they risked him there, because even the days before, Ardley was saying he might be back for, was it Havant and Waterlooville? I think it was. He said, he may be back for that, or his Oxford City or something. I was mind blown when he came on, because it was a game that we weren't attacking in anyway. We were holding on for the draw. And he didn't do anything in the game. He wasn't fit. So yeah, that's a very, very tricky situation. We'll go on to the team then. We'll go on to our lineup, and I'll give you a little preview. It's going to be a 5 at the back, same formation. But before we do that, George, I'd like to tackle this question first, because this is a really, really great question from Ian. Have I got that one?
We'll go for at the back. Who would you pick as the centre halves?
Whoa, that is tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. That is tricky.
I go Rawlinson and Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, you don't feel too hard by picking someone, because I feel like, as much as if we was to pick our back four, obviously if we was to pick the whole back four, obviously Kelly Evans and Barnett would be fullbacks. But centre halves, I probably agree with Tom, but the schedule that we've got is going to have to change. You can't sustain playing Saturday, Tuesday. So if you're going to be playing in a back four, it is going to change. But if we had to say, and it was obviously to stick, just for the nature of the question, Rawlinson and Ellis, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I feel hard done for Lacey there, but I think
he's class
Ellis has been so good. Right, we'll go for our lineup. We've got Slocum in goal. Dale Kelly Evans at fullback or wing back, just partly because it's something different. They will know the threat that Enzio has now. They played us. So Enzio's played 2 games in a row at wing back, and it's a more demanding position physically and energy-wise than sort of playing on the wing. So just give him a rest, freshen it up. Kelly Evans, fantastic player. Same 3 centre-backs, and we keep Barnett, because if I'm right, Barnett's only played 1, hasn't he? Miller played the game before, so it's not like he was going to be tired. He's going to be buzzing off confidence. That's our back 5. George, the middle 3.
Keep it the same. Reeves, O'Brien and Doyle. It worked well. I know Will likened it to, what did he say, a retirement home. Yeah, but I think it worked well. We were moving the ball well in midfield, and we've been missing that recently. So keep it the same. And up top, we're stuck with our preview selection for the previous Yeovil game of Wotton and Knowles. Effion played well on Saturday, I thought, but again, he's played quite a few games recently. We've not seen much of Knowles, so I think give him a chance playing a Horton. See how well it does.
I think Knight on the bench as well. I think I'd like to see Knight on the bench.
Well, you'd like to think he's close now, wouldn't you?
Yeah. There was murmurs of him maybe being on the bench for Saturday, but I think this would be a fantastic one, especially away from home. If he was to come on, I think Yeovil are they lost that game. They're chasing playoffs as well. They're not that far behind, something like 6 points behind maybe. They're going to want to be playing on the front foot this game. They're not going to come and be as passive as they were. They're going to come and try and get revenge. As we said, that our teams don't really like each other, aren't we? So there's no way they're going to play like that. And if we can get him behind with Knowles or Knight, I'm desperate to see how quick he is. I think.
Yeah, that's what everyone says about him, isn't it? It's not like he's a great finisher. He does this, he does that. He's just lightning quick. That's all we've heard. Yeah,
I've also heard though he's very good setting up goals as well.
That's
so
good, yeah.
If he can put them on a plate for Wotton, because Wotton is a very good finisher, isn't he? That would be very good. So that's our lineup. What do you guys think about the lineup? I think for this game, I think that's possibly the best you can go with. Yeah,
I do as well. The only one that I wouldn't mind seeing possibly different is Enzio for Kelly Evans. As much as we like Kelly Evans, I thought Enzio did fantastic on Saturday.
Yeah, he's really going into that role. Very, very good. To say going into that, it's not a completely alien position because he played winger, but there's so much more to defending than just getting back. You have to help. You have to help your centre backs. You have to be aware of overlaps. You have to be switched on defensively. And he was fantastic. They got nothing down that side. Absolutely nothing. So massive, massive credit to Enzio. Do we know if Knight is? Yeah. Do we know if Knight is cup tied? I think he possibly is. So this would be a good time to get him in ahead of the Hornchurch semi-final. Also, if you haven't seen the Hornchurch semi-final, we are going to be doing a watch-along for the whole game, aren't we, George? Which the last one was Chesterfield, and I don't think that's on a shot on target. So hopefully this will be more exciting.
You'd like to think so.
Yeah, so we'll keep our lineup on the screen. A few comments coming in saying that they're enjoying that lineup. I think Arnie will have an eye on the Hornchurch game. Agreed. I think it's a semi-final, but I don't want to get ahead of myself with this, but I do think the Hornchurch game, we can afford to make a few changes, definitely. I think every single member of the squad, every single member should be more than capable of, if we've got 11, we should have whatever team we put out, we should have the 11 best players on the pitch, no doubt. So
yeah,
I think you can mix that up a bit. I'd like to see a bit of a mix up with maybe Wolf in centre mid, Turner at the back, not Knight because he's cut type, but yeah, just mix it up a bit.
Yeah, definitely get some. I think, fingers crossed. He's better by then. As in Roberts, we could possibly see 20 minutes of Kyle Roberts, but I'm not gonna put any bets on it.
No. Again, that old man Sam. So we'll go with your prediction for the game. Flash it up on screen then. What are you going with?
I've gone 1-0 Notts. O'Brien to nick a goal. I think it's going to be a bit of a tighter game. Obviously, Yeovil will have adapted to our game plan a little bit. Will we have changed ours? I doubt it. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tighter than it was before. But hoping for another good performance.
Fair enough. Tight game. I'm going to go with Yeovil 1, Notts 2. I'm going to go Wootton and Kelly Evans. I think Kelly Evans, the last time he hit the bar, didn't he? Like 5 or 6 games ago. Would have been a screamer. I think Wootton was kept quiet last game, and I think they were far too focused on Wootton. That allowed Effiong to get a bit involved. I don't think they're going to be as focused on Wootton for this one. I think maybe their attention will be drawn elsewhere, especially even with the wing backs and how well they played. I just think Kelly Evans will get one as well. I feel like the pressure's off Wootton a bit, and we're sort of sharing it out a little bit more now, and that's important because you can't rely on one player.
No, absolutely not.
So that wraps up the preview, a bit of a short one just because of the hectic schedule we've got. Tuesday night, we are going to be releasing after the game an instant reaction and a player ratings. As always, thank you everyone for getting involved. The questions have been fantastic. Feels really positive, doesn't it, in a minute, George? And it's just great to be back at it. Yeah, fantastic. And just always also keep in mind that we will be doing a watch along of the Hornchurch game in the FA Trophy semi-final. Thank you all for watching.